Hi, I am just here to ask you questions, just to see what it's like to grow up with two parents, because I come from a single parent family, and my mom remarried when I was about 7 or 8, and I just want to know what it's like to grow up with both parents. So, what do you think the most enjoyable part of having two parents was as you were growing up?
I think for me the most enjoyable part was just that I got exposed to a diversity of activities. My dad was really into sports, and he didn't have any boys. He had two girls, and so I learned a bunch about sports because that's what I did to spend time with my dad. You know, and if my mom was taking care of my sister, you know, I had that time with my dad to learn about sports. And then vice versa, when I had time with my mom, she introduced me to music, and honestly was super smart. So it was like having a private tutor at home. But it was just always nice because I felt like we got a lot of one-on-one attention. You know, it had its pitfalls too, though. You had one-on-one attention, so you couldn't get away with anything either because they were always there.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think it definitely gave me a leg up on life and put me ahead in a lot of areas.
So you talked about your dad and just being involved in sports. What do you think the biggest sport was for your dad and just you guys and being involved together?
So my dad played baseball, and so that was definitely his first love, but he also loved basketball. And so, you know, we played all those sports, but I think what I appreciated the most about my dad was the fact that, like, my sister didn't like either one of those sports, and so he got into running to spend time with her. And so he didn't really show any favoritism. He just wanted us to love being active and being involved in sports.
Yeah, and you talked about your mom and her love for music. What do you think how did that significantly impact your life?
Well, she made sure that we got involved in lessons really early. So I started playing piano when I was really little, and then I hated piano, I really did. But it got me to a place that I could pick up the violin, and that was honestly my true love in music. You know, and it was always nice. My dad didn't know anything about music, so if I felt like I had just blown, you know, not done well at a recital or something, he could have cared less. He was just proud of me, you know, and vice versa. If I'd had a game where I struck out 3 times, Mom was just proud of me because she was proud of me, you know. And so I appreciated having both sides.
Yeah. Because you grew up with both your parents, do you think it impacts how you raise your kids today with your husband?
I do. I'm thankful for my in-laws that we had similar backgrounds, and so we look at parenting definitely as a joint effort. He is just as capable as taking care of our kids as I am. You know, I can leave him with him, and he can change diapers and feed them and take really good care of them. You know, but back to how I was raised, you know, he has different interests and things than I do, and I really enjoy the fact that he takes the time to take the kids out in nature. He loves nature. He loves animals. I don't know the difference in animals, and so he teaches them all those different things, you know, and then, you know, I can give them my love of music and some of those other things, and so it gives our kids a chance to be exposed to a lot of different stuff.
Do you think that in your parenting that you parent kind of like your parents since you're more musically in sports and your husband's more outdoorsy in the nature kind of stuff?
I think yes and no. You know, I think we've been able to look at how our parents raised us and evaluate some of this stuff. And there's some of the stuff that we think they did really good at and we really try to implement. And there's other things that we may not have necessarily agreed with, but we appreciate that they put forth the effort. And we also know that'll be true of our kids, that they'll be able to look at us and say, hey, there was some stuff that Mom and Dad did really well. And there's other stuff that they'll probably think, what the heck were they thinking, you know? And but I think the bottom line is, you know, I felt extremely loved and cared for by my parents, and that's the main thing we're hoping to pass on to ours, that you're loved and cared for, and, you know, we want to do everything in our power to make you to be successful human beings.
Do you think there's anything specific that you do to help your kids feel loved and appreciated every day?
Well, we always tell them we love them. That's a big deal, and, you know, we always make sure they have a hug, but then, you know, we spend a lot of time talking about what they have in life and not what they don't have, you know, and I think a lot of life is just learning to be thankful. And so if they can walk out of our house and be thankful for
Mm-hmm.
what they're given. You know, I think that'll make them really successful in life.
Yeah. Well, thank you for letting me interview you. I just need to tell you that this will be posted on the internet and shown in my class, so just so you know.
Thanks for letting me know.
Yep.